Every morning started the same way. I walked my vineyard before the workers arrived, checking every row of grapes with my own hands. This land had been in my family for decades, and every vine told part of our story. Harvest season was only weeks away, so every detail mattered. Healthy vines meant a successful year, and I wasn't about to let anyone interfere with months of hard work. Just as I finished inspecting one section, two unfamiliar SUVs rolled down my private vineyard road. Dust filled the air as they drove straight toward the center of my property. The men climbed out wearing tactical-style shirts marked HOA enforcement. They acted like they owned the place before saying a single word. Without asking permission, they started walking through my vineyard, inspecting everything they saw. Their confidence suggested they had done this before, but not on my land. The leader handed me a packet of HOA rules and claimed my vineyard violated community standards. I looked at the papers, then looked back at him, already knowing something was very wrong. I calmly explained that my property sat completely outside their neighborhood. The boundary marker had been there longer than their entire subdivision. Instead of listening, they insisted their HOA had authority over every property nearby. Their confidence only made the situation more unbelievable. I walked to my truck and retrieved the official survey map I'd carried for years. If facts mattered to them, this would settle everything. The map clearly showed my vineyard was never part of their HOA. Even with the evidence right in front of them, neither man looked ready to admit they had made a mistake. I pointed to the official survey map and explained that my vineyard had never been part of their HOA. The property lines were recorded years before their subdivision even existed. Everything was backed by county records. Instead of reviewing the documents, they dismissed the paperwork. They insisted their HOA had authority over my property simply because it bordered the area. Their confidence wasn't supported by any legal evidence. I asked who had sent them and which HOA they represented. They proudly named a subdivision located several miles away. That answer confirmed exactly what I had been thinking. Their neighborhood wasn't connected to my land in any way. A public road and county property separated us completely. There was never any legal relationship between my vineyard and their HOA. Instead of leaving, they continued inspecting my vineyard. They examined irrigation lines, fences, and equipment as though they were conducting an official inspection. No one had given them permission to do so. One of the officers began taking photographs of my property. I respectfully asked him to stop because he was on private land. He ignored my request and kept documenting everything around him. My workers noticed the unexpected visitors and gathered near the equipment barn. They looked confused as strangers walked through the vineyard acting like they were in charge. I asked everyone to stay calm and continue working. There was no reason to argue or create unnecessary tension. We would handle the situation professionally. The officers returned to their SUVs and quietly discussed what to do next. From the way they talked, it was clear they still believed they had authority over my property. As I watched them from the vineyard entrance, I realized the misunderstanding wasn't over. If they refused to accept the facts, the proper authorities would have to resolve the matter. The next chapter of this dispute was just beginning. I stepped away for a moment and contacted the county property records office. I wanted the official documents ready in case the disagreement continued. Facts always speak louder than assumptions. Not long afterward, a county surveyor arrived at the property. He carried official records and professional surveying equipment. The HOA officers immediately became much quieter. The surveyor carefully verified the property boundaries using official county measurements. Every marker matched the records exactly. There was no uncertainty about where my land began and ended. The surveyor explained that my vineyard had never been included in the neighboring HOA. The official records left no room for interpretation. The property boundaries were clear and legally established. For the first time, the officers looked uncertain. Their confidence faded as they realized the official documents completely contradicted their claims. The situation had clearly changed. The team leader contacted someone from his HOA board to explain what had happened. He sounded much less confident than before. Even over the radio, the conversation seemed tense. Soon, several HOA board members arrived at the vineyard. They wanted to see the property for themselves after hearing about the disagreement. Everyone gathered near the entrance. The surveyor reviewed every official document with the board members. One by one, they acknowledged that the vineyard was completely outside their association. The evidence was impossible to dispute. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification for more HOA stories every week. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We'd love to know.